Okay, we're back. I have my head completely covered. I did end up adding some more black across the top. I didn't like the way the shape of my head was. So I just added a couple extra layers of black to kind of round it off a little bit. I'm not totally happy with some of this area right here. This one's looking okay, but I'm going to fix some of that when we do the white. But our next step is our flippers. And our flippers we do the flippers pretty much the same way we did the rest of it. Okay, we're going to start with the back of the flipper. Secure it in the body. And then just work our way around the edge line of the flipper. In this case, it follows right along here. Just tucking it back in, kind of just outlining the flipper. Anchor it in good so that tension won't pull it out. As you get around to the loose part, just hold it between your fingers. Go ahead and bring it down. We're going to go ahead and go all the way around. We'll do the tip later. The next pass. Just continue outlining it. This extra you can either trim it off or just fold it into the back. And you may be getting down towards the end of your black wool. If that's the case, just use whatever pieces you have. You've got enough. But I don't know how thick you put it all along your back when you did the back. If you're using one of my kits, that is. Glue a magnet on the back. And you have a refrigerator magnet. Okay, that outlined it pretty well. Strings. We've got the bottom under here that needs to be done. Let's go ahead and do that next, and then I'll let you finish the rest of the flipper on your own. Because the top's pretty much just like color on the bottom. I'm just taking a piece of wool, right about the right size. And instead of going this way, I'm going from the top down to felt it in. Don't worry about it hanging over the edges. Just try and get it to cover up the white. Okay, I'm coming along. Okay, I'm going to leave you on your own. Just go ahead and fill in the center. and fix your tip if you cut it off like I did. And then also make sure that the bottom of your penguin is fully black, and the feet and the tail, you can leave these ends white. And when you get back, we'll go ahead and add the white. Okay, now we're going to do the white. The white is optional. You can just leave it with just the core color if you want. Just, pick out the black, smooth everything down, and just move on to the pink. But if you don't want to do that, you've got your white. If you got the supply kit, it comes with a nice soft white, and it actually looks quite nice. So basically it's just like doing the black. And then you want to watch out for is, you keep a nice clean edge between the white and the black, and that you keep the black out of the white. I highly suggest you take your felting mat and you clean off any excess black wool, your whole work area, dust it off. A Swiffer works great to pick up any of those stray bits of wool. You want to get as black as far away from where you're working as possible. And then, just like we did before, take off sections. This will be a little bit easier because you won't see, it won't be so obvious if you've got little thin spots. They'll just all blend in. So I'm going to let you take care of that. There's nothing really different on this section. The only thing I think of is I really like my eyes to come out a little further. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put a twist of wool around the eyes and just bump them up a little bit. The eyes are sticking out too far in my version. Yours might be just fine, but my version is sticking out too far, and they need to kind of be deep set a little bit deep inside there. So I'm getting white all over my black. Stop it. Okay, so go ahead and put on the white, and when you come back, we'll go ahead and do the pink. Okay, we got our white on. I did expand my eyes out a little bit, and I really like that. They're sitting flush with the face now. We've got some flyaways, we've got some issues, but let's go ahead and get the pink on, and then I'll show you how to finish the project. Okay, we're going to do the eyes first. What you're going to do is grab a piece of pink, just kind of ball it up. You want to ball, you want to kind of keep it flat, but you want it thicker in the middle than on the sides. So just manipulate it around. And we'll put it right over the eye. Use a small needle and poke all the way around the eye. Go fairly deep. Watch out for the pins. You can see it's starting to color. Pulling in some of the fibers. I'm bringing them from the outside and bringing them in. Our goal here is we don't want a perfect circle around the eye. We want it to kind of fade out around the edges. Start pulling the middle in away from the eye, and then I'll have to go in and I want to cut it just in two places. And you may have to cut all the way across the eye. Okay, poke that back down. A couple of twirling pokes. Not getting a lot of color right here. The pink wool is actually a mixture of several different colors of pink. Some of them are pretty light. I think I got a light spot right there. Grab another piece of wool, try and get to more of the pinker side. Just need a little tiny piece. Yeah, that's better. This is a good example of when the magnifying glasses would be useful. You get right in there and see individual fibers. out. I'm going to grab my fingernail scissors and trim off the excess. Okay. That looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and do the other side. I'll let you do that side on your own. Okay, coming on back, we've got both eyes done. He's looking cute. Realistically cute. Okay, now I need to do the part above the nose. It basically goes around the nose from side to side, and a little thin line goes down, I think, underneath. Just a very thin line. So I'm going to start with the line. Take some of the pink, I'm going to spit roll it into a thin roll. Okay. Start underneath. Actually, that's too thick. I'm going to start with the little thin end. One reason I like these spit rolls is you get these nice little thin cigar shaped rolls, and those ends can come in handy. Up. Now this one you want a hard edge all the way around it. Now this it kind of goes up and then down. You don't want it just to be a loop. I'm going to poke it in a little bit right here. Watch out for those pins. Then we'll go up at the top. Bring it back down. Remember, we need black along here, so don't fill that all in. If this gets too thick, you can always trim it down. Don't worry about this edge, and I'll trim it off the beak side. I decided I want it shorter, thinner. And I can also poke it down into itself to thin it. I'll go underneath and won't get too thick. Cut that off, and then I'm going to thin it. Got pretty good on the first shot. Don't have a whole lot I need to change. A little bit of black along there. Fade it out a little. Tiny piece and pull it. And take it all the way around. Get a nice hard edge. Okay, technically we're done. I mean, all the colors are set. Now when you just go through and fix anything that seems off, look at your pictures, make sure everything is sculpted the way you want, that the beak didn't get out of shape while you were doing other things, flippers didn't get out of shape. You know, are you happy with what you did? It's going to be a little fuzzy. We'll work on that in a minute. You want to get the shape first, and then we'll go back and do fuzzy control. Hair looks pretty cute. Haven't standing problems. We added some more wool to the back here. So I'm just going to press this in a little bit, and we'll have a trick here in a minute that I'll show you. That'll solve a lot of the problems. But you want it to be able to stand on its own before you do that little trick. Okay, we're standing now. Eyes on this side are a little uneven. Okay, I'm not going to get too picky. I don't have time for it. Okay, the fuzzies. We got white. I don't have too much trouble with black being on it, but we got some white where the black is. Okay, what you want to do is go around it, and this is where the fingernail scissors come in handy, because you can use the curved edge to go around and just trim off all those little flyaways. Make sure you do it over a surface that's easy to clean. You don't want anything to stick. You want to, as you cut, you want the fibers to just fall away, let gravity do its job and get them away from your project. I like doing it on a contrasting surface, because you just kind of roll it around, and as the flyaways come up, you trim them off, and you just keep rotating until you don't see, until you've got them off. And then you pick another area and repeat the process. Okay, this gets off a lot of the fuzzies. And then after that, we're going to take the small needle, you go around your project and just, I call this the slide stitch. I don't know if I taught this one earlier, but you want to slide a little bit and then poke, slide a little bit and poke. What it does is it gathers up the fibers, lays them down, and then pokes them in. So you want to go in, and this is a good thing to do, like if you're watching TV after the project is done, during the commercial breaks. Do your slide and poke. It's a little tedious, and it takes a little bit of time. I'm not going to go through and do the whole thing. Now, one thing that can be an issue is sometimes you see how you can get a hole while you're poking. In the case of this penguin, it kind of works out because it makes it look fuzzy and furry on the feathers. But if you don't want those holes, in many cases you don't, of course it doesn't show up on the black. All you need to do is, one, use a smaller needle. A smaller needle makes a smaller hole. But then also just take your finger and just kind of rub and press and rub. And what that does is it closes up that hole and lets the barbs on the wool attach themselves to the barbs on the wool on the other side of the hole, and you lose the holes go away. Okay, now for the trick on the bottom. You take our bottom, we've got a couple of nice shiny pennies, and if you don't want to use pennies, you can use a lot of other things. You can use washers, anything small and flat. It can be dimes, it doesn't have to be pennies. But I'm going to take my bottom and I'm going to make 2 slits. Need to be as wide as a penny and as deep as a penny. So I'm going to go down deep. You'll be surprised how easy it is to cut inside, and how soft that middle still is even after all the felting we did to it. Okay, and then take our penny and push it in. Take the other penny, push it in. Take our needle and just kind of close up those slits. Make sure you go sideways. That penny is solid, and if you go crazy and hard, you're going to be breaking needles. Okay, and then just test. There we go. It weights the base and it makes it easier. You can move. It's not going to fall over. Okay, we're still a little fuzzy, but I'm not going to do anything more to them right now. And there you go. That is how you create a penguin. This is how we create the penguin. You are done. And one good thing to know is you're no longer a beginner. So happy swifting, and hopefully we'll see you at Swift Needle Felting on Facebook or at worthylion.com.